Good morning and good afternoon. Our guest speakers, dear members, friends from the industry, Mr. Rajesh Nath, Managing Director, VDMA India, and the co-moderator. A hearty welcome to all of you in today's webinar on Indian maritime industry, technology solution from Germany, organized by VDMA India in association with VDMA Germany and other VDMA members like EPLAN, GmbH, Lechler, Ortlinghaus, and Phoenix Contact. We hope all of you and your families and employees are all safe and sound. Myself, Sandeep Roy, based out of the Kolkata office of VDMA, and will be taking you through the initial part of the today's webinar. Friends, before we enter the main phase of the webinar, a brief introduction on VDMA. VDMA is the largest industrial association of German machinery and plant manufacturers in the whole of Europe. Established around 129 years before, with more than 3,300 members at present and over 1 million of employees, VDMA caters to 36 specialized sectors under mechanical engineering. Our members produce machinery worth 207 billion in 2020, out of which is exported 78%. Friends, sensing the potential of the BRIC countries in early 90s, VDMA established its first foreign office in India, followed by China, Brazil, and Russia. It has also offices in Brussels for coordination in European Union and also offices at Far East in Japan. Friends, before we continue, would like to remind all of you that you can post all your questions in the chat box. They would be answered during the question and answer sessions. Now I would like to invite Mr. Nath for his welcome address. Over to you, Mr. Nath.
Yeah, thank you, Sandeep, and good morning to all our members and industry friends from Germany, and good afternoon to our members and participants from India. VDMA India, along with VDMA Marine Equipment and Systems Division, and in cooperation with our member companies EPLAN, GEA, Westphalia, Lechler, Ortlinghaus, and Phoenix Contact, cordially welcomes you to this important international web seminar, which would give you an overview of the German technology and solutions in the entire value chain of the maritime industry. I also extend a warm welcome to my colleague, Mr. 𝐒𝐫𝐴, Managing Director of the VDMA Marine Equipment and Systems Division. Nice to have you with us, Mr. Schlegel, today. Also, a hearty welcome to all our speakers from the member companies who would be presenting today. Friends, with 2/3 of the world being covered in water and the rapid growth of globalization, the shipping industry has become a pivotal support system to commerce and trade all over the globe. According to the United Nations Conference Trade and Development report, around 80% of the global trade by volume and 70% of international trade by value are carried by sea, thus earning it the title of the backbone of the industry. The Indian ports and shipping industry play a vital role in sustaining growth in the country's trade and commerce. India is the 16th largest maritime country in the world, with a coastline of about 7,517 kilometers. India has 12 major ports and 200 non-major ports. In fact, out of the 200 non-major ports, 44 are functional and strategically located on the world's shipping routes. Ports in India handle almost 95% of the trade volumes in India. Solid cargo contributes the largest share to all traffic handled at major ports in India, followed by liquid cargo and containers. The Indian shipbuilding industry is of strategic importance to the Indian economy and can contribute immensely to the vision of making India a $5 trillion economy by 2024-25. The government of India has set ambitious plans for shipbuilding and ship repair industry in the country. Each shipbuilding project creates logistics, spares, and project support ecosystems comprising of OEMs, ancillary industry, and MSMEs to support each platform. just for example's sake, for example, Calcutta-based Garden Reach Shipbuilders and Engineers has nearly 2,100 firms registered to support ongoing naval shipbuilding projects. This highlights the important role in employment generation, development of manufacturing and related industries, and national security that the shipbuilding industry plays in India. However, this industry can flourish when reliable technology is available and can be adopted. Hence, today our members will highlight the support that German technology can offer to propel the Indian shipbuilding and marine industry towards the next level. On this note, I again extend a warm welcome to all our speakers and the participants, and would now like to hand it back to my colleague, Mr. Sandeep Roy.
Thank you, Mr. Nath, for setting the tone of today's web seminar on the Indian maritime industry. Friends, now I would like to introduce our August speakers, Mr. 𝐕𝐃𝐌𝐀, Managing Director, VDMA Marine Equipment and Systems, Mr. Umesh Pai, Managing Director, EPLAN, Mr. Vipin Joy NJ, Product Manager, Global Marine Business, GmbH Westphalia, Mr. Michael Lipthal, Product Manager, Lechler, Germany, Mr. Michael Kentamish, Industry Manager, Marine Propulsion Technology, Ortlinghaus, and Mr. 𝐕𝐵𝐽𝐺, Business Development Head, Industry Management and Automation, Phoenix Contact. A hearty welcome to all of you, to our speakers in today's web seminar. Now, I request all the speakers to conclude your respective presentations within their time. And I'd like to invite our first speaker, Mr. 𝐕𝐾𝐬𝐧, for his keynote presentation on technology trends in the German marine equipment industry, opportunities for the Indian shipping and shipbuilding. Over to you, Mr. 𝐕𝐾𝐬𝐧.
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, thank you for organizing this event, and I send you all very heartfelt greetings here from Northern Germany directly to our friends in the Indian shipbuilding industry. We miss you, actually. So normally my plan was to come over to you, like many of my colleagues from the member companies, to come over to you in October for the INMEX SMM India exhibition in Mumbai, but this will be not possible this year. We all know this, and we miss this personal contact with you. So I'm very happy that my colleagues from India have organized this event, and yeah, would like to greet you and thank you for participating. So I will speak very quickly in my following charts. So first of all, I say, if it is too fast for you, no problem. You will all receive the charts after the meeting. And if you have any specific questions, everybody of you can ask me directly afterwards or via email or Teams or what else, because it is a lot of content there, and but I try to keep very short here. So yeah, our organization is part of the big VDMA, as my colleagues have described before, and we have around about 250 member companies from all sectors of marine equipment in our VDMA branch sector. And all of the following speaking companies are members of our association. Next, please. Our industry is leading worldwide in the export of marine equipment. So we have more or less 400 manufacturing companies in this industry with 63,000 employees. That is 3 times the size of the German shipbuilding industry, of the shipyards. So just to compare, there you can see that the main part of the value of the ships is in the equipment. All of us know this, and the equipment industry is still world leading in Germany. Nevertheless, the shipbuilding is more or less concentrated in Asia at the moment. So next, please. This just shows very quickly the development of the turnover of our branch. All of us know about the ups and downs in the shipbuilding industry for the last years. In the equipment industry, it is much more stable, as we can see here. Even the Corona year of 2020 is just a little drop, and we expect strong growth again this year. And so that is a stable development. The reason is that we are not delivering to the shipyards, but the equipment industry has also the ship owners in focus for the lifelong service with their products on board during the complete life cycle of the ships. Next, please. Yeah, this map just shows a bit from our perspective where the shipbuilding industry is concentrated. That is the colors of the countries. You see China, Japan, and Korea are the top 3 shipbuilding countries by volume of production. They can produce more than 500 seagoing ships per year. Then we have followed by US, Turkey, Russia, Indonesia, Vietnam, and so on, which can produce between 50 and 300 ships per year. And then another group like India, Germany, and other European countries with less production, but still important shipbuilding countries, up to 50 seagoing ships per year. This is just commercial shipbuilding and not military shipbuilding. This will add some more, of course, especially also in India. And the numbers in the bubbles you see, that is indicating the ranking of the ship equipment industries of the specific countries. And there you can see Germany is still #1, as I've mentioned, followed by the 3 Asians, by China, Korea, and Japan, and then by other European ship equipment manufacturing countries. And you can see here this concentration still in Europe for the high quality ship equipment industry, which shows that we have a strong link between the big shipbuilding countries in Asia and the European and German ship equipment industry. The next, please. Yeah, what's the shipbuilding in Germany about? You all know about the famous cruise shipyards like Meyer and MV Werften, but it is not only cruise shipbuilding in Germany. Special vessels are the focus of the German shipbuilding portfolio, and in these types of vessel, 85% of the value of the ship is supplier contribution. That means we need a strong cooperation between shipyards and ship equipment industry, and it is essential to have a strong cooperation, not just between these two, but from the ship owner, shipyard, system integrators, suppliers, class, and designers. They all have to work together in a perfect team, and that is the main benefit which exists in Germany and in Central Europe. And we like to help you with this also for your Indian development. Next, please. Yeah, we have some strong trends in the market, and I will not go into every line here in detail because the following speakers will have their specific solutions for all these trends. But just to give you an overview what's going on at the moment in the technical aspects. We have more and more larger and more complex vessels. The technologies have to be more and more reliable. Green and safe technologies are on top. We all know about this. The marine energy transition with the new fuels, carbon-free shipping, and so on. That is a big headlines and will trigger the industry for the coming decades, not just for the coming years, but for the coming decades. And of course, the enabler for this all is the digitalization. And yeah, what is the consequences for the industry? Of course, the equipment is still even higher in value, quality, and reliability, which is a challenge for the more or less medium-sized companies which are active in this branch. And the growing demand for solutions and packages is visible. So it is not just anymore sending components, but you have to deliver systems and packages. And the life cycle aspect is very important. So it is not just the ship owners are not just anymore looking at the initial costs of the ship building at all, but look at the whole lifespan of the ship. Yeah, all of these trends have one consequence. We need more deeper cooperation between all companies in the market, international cooperation, national cooperation, what else? Especially now, I want to stress the argument, it is a big need for more cooperation also between the Indian and the German shipbuilding industries, especially the Indian shipbuilding and ship suppliers and the German ship equipment industry. And we are open for this. Next, please. Yeah, I just want to give you one example of a specific project in the digitalization. In Germany, we have just taken over a standard. This MTP is a ship automation standard for the communication between different modules on board. I do not want to go into detail, but just to show you about the standard has been developed for the process industry, for chemical and pharmaceutical industry. And then the shipbuilding industry has seen, oh, that is a very useful standard. We need exactly this. Can we take it over? And we manage it in VDMA now. We have 4 years of development of the standard. Now the standard is ready, and it enables the shipyards to spare a lot of money. The next, please. A lot of money and time during the construction process of the shipyard. Just to give you an impression, ships are very complicated with all their product systems and modules, and the communication between these different plants is more or less complex due to the higher and higher number of signals and values which have to be exchanged between the systems. So it's really a challenge for the integration process at the shipyard, and in this case, this standard helps essentially and directly in this situation. The next, please. And this is just giving you an overview. This MTP standard is something like a plug-and-play standard between all the systems, like your USB cable you use at the computer. You have, in future, you have your, I don't know, scrubber or your exhaust gas system. And this system has its own automation, and plug and play, you can integrate it into the overall ship automation. And that is a big step forward, because now it takes a lot of time by hand to allow the systems to integrate and to communicate together without errors and so on. So this is just this example. And next please, that I show you which kind of companies are in such a project. In this specific project, we not only have the marine equipment industry and automation companies, famous names you all know here, but also universities, system integrators, and also sensor manufacturers. So the complete range of companies which are affected with this, and they work together in this project. So it's really fun working with such a group, and I just wanted to report to you. If you have any need of more information on this MTP project and the MTP standard, just look at our website or contact me or what else. You have a lot of opportunities to know about it, also to get the standard text if you are like to do this, to prepare yourself what to do to become part of this new standard. No problem, we help you, we support you, all free of charge, of course. So next, please. Yeah, if you need any more information on our German industry, which I have explained here very briefly now, you get under this email address the complete spectrum of all our member companies and more, all the industry with contacts, with their specific products and so on, up to date. So just have a look there and you find this complete overview. And the next, please. Yeah, I hope I could keep the time here now with this very short speech. Sorry for speaking so quickly, but so if you have any further questions, I'm open for you in our question and answer session, or just type in into your tool online, and I'm happy to answer your questions. And I thank you very much for your attendance.
Thank you, Mr. Schlegel, for wrapping up everything on behalf of the VDMA German sides, what is going on, and also enlightening the audience on the MTP standardization. Thank you for an insightful presentation. Now, our next speaker, I would like to invite Mr. Umesh Pai, who will talk on the EPLAN digitization, standardization, and the automation for planning equipment and systems in marine. Over to you, Mr. Pai.
Good afternoon. Hope you guys are able to see my screen.
Yes, Mr. Pai.
Yeah. Thank you, Sandeep. I would like to first welcome all the members for this session. Before that, I would like to say thanks to VDMA for organizing this wonderful seminar on maritime industry. Mr. Sandeep and Manohar have been quite strict, saying that we need to manage within those 20 minutes given. I will try and manage that. Again, thanks Mr. Schleger for setting up an excellent platform. I would take from where he has left in terms of challenges in the maritime industry. He just mentioned a statement that shipbuilding is quite a complex. Ship is quite a complex system. Just to give you an information, just about 20 years back, if you had loaded all the drawings that you created to design a ship on that ship would sink. So that's how complex that ship used to be. Nowadays, thankfully, you don't have paper drawings, you will have mostly digital ones. So I would next 18 to 20 minutes take you through the EPLAN offerings in shipbuilding industry particularly, or maritime industry as a whole. Shipbuilding industry or a maritime industry is quite a vast field with many stakeholders, a lot of companies, a lot of systems involved. Before I delve into this angle, let me introduce you first the group company, or us, who are EPLAN and what do we do. We are part of 𝐕DMA group. You saw that logo of Rittal in MTP project that Mr. Schleger showed. We are part of that group with about 2.2 billion euros revenue annually, with the 94 subsidiaries worldwide, with about 12 manufacturing plants, one of them being located in Bangalore in India as well, and 11,600 employees. Of this group, we are the software arm, the EPLAN and CDON group. This is called Rittal Software Solutions Group. Rittal being the major company looking at enclosures and climate control equipments. Then we are in the cloud side with the German Edge Cloud and some supply material side with steel and Stalo and LKH. So of this, EPLAN is the, as I mentioned, the software company with about 1,140 employees worldwide, 50 locations, about 61,000 customers with about 210,000 licenses. That means end users using the software on the field. As my previous speaker said, we are actually at the cusp of a big, huge change, whether it is maritime industry or the manufacturing industry as a whole. You get to hear a lot of terminologies: 4.0, digitalization, data, standardization, efficient engineering. All of this is important. It can be daunting, but at the same time, as we keep mentioning inside our company, this change is a chance or is an opportunity to relook at all the things that we do and make it more efficient so that we can serve our customers better. That's the motto of EPLAN as an organization, and we serve all the industries, whether it is machinery in plant construction, panel building, or automotive, food and beverage, process industries, maritime industries, which we are discussing today, energy, building technology. These are all the industries that we directly serve. Just to set up the whole, my presentation is based on this particular workflow. These are various stakeholders. My previous speaker said, there is a lot of collaboration that is required for an efficient industry to run. Now, it all starts with an operator, whether it is an end user or what we call as a port or a shipbuilder. He's the one who will decide the specifications first. What is that he wants to construct? What should be the tonnage? What should this a lot of technology or a lot of specifications involved. There will be a lot of planning that happens. From this, an order will be placed to a consultant or to an EPC for a turnkey project, whether to build a ship, in this case maybe a shipyard. So a lot of data gets transferred from the operator to the builder or system integrator or original equipment manufacturer. Here, the original equipment manufacturer or a system builder or a system integrator or a EPC will do basic engineering, detailed engineering, and the data again flows back to the operator to validate these assumptions, validate these technologies, and once frozen, orders will be placed to the manufacturer. Again, that manufacturer will do a lot of detailed engineering. They will also do sourcing, they will buy, they will manufacture, and then give the data back to the system integrator or an EPC, who will put it all together and then erect a plant or commission a ship. If you see, one thing that is being common is the data that is flowing from one stakeholder to another stakeholder and back. The requirement, the usage of this data from each stakeholder will be different. For example, if you take an owner operator, the data that he will or she will use is for operation purpose, but it could be the same data. Whereas an OEM or a system integrator will use this data for a completely different purpose, say engineering, whether it is basic or detailed. But the data will flow from one company to another company, and ultimately the goal of any organization is to have this data in a centralized place and give access to all the stakeholders to the extent that is required. So that is the goal or the ecosystem goal of EPLAN as a company. So we would like to create a digital platform or an ecosystem for all the stakeholders, whether it is operators, OEMs, panel builders, or component manufacturer, or the suppliers, by giving them the best possible software, having access to the best possible master data, and creating a digital platform. This is the platform from which we would like now to take into the maritime ecosystem. As I said, maritime ecosystem is a vast field. Whether it is a vessel, it can be oil and gas offshore, again considered inside a maritime industry, port and logistics, which in itself is a huge opportunity right now, and then the waterways and coastal protection. Under the Sagarmala project, Government of India is doing investment in all four of them, large way. I hope it will really take off in next 2 to 3 years, and these are next 3 or 4 slides I would like to take you through what is that we can do to all the sister companies or all the customers here in terms of their design, right? So let's look into the maritime shipbuilding. I'm taking an example of shipbuilding. These are the business types, which I mentioned. If I map it to the shipbuilding industry, the operator is a ship owner. System integrator can be a shipbuilder, whether it is new ship, repair, retrofit. Then OEM equipments will be a lot of suppliers, a lot of technology providers, from some of whom we will listen after me here. And then, as Mr. Lechler said, a lot of association work groups like VDMA, universities, engineering companies, classification societies. So it's a complex, big ecosystem that needs to work together. But for my presentation purpose, I will focus only on the engineering landscape. Now, when a ship builder gets an order for developing the ship, he will usually get 2 things. One is a hull design related data and the general functional requirements. We usually differentiate into spatial requirements and functional requirements. Spatial requirements are basically where, how, and the 3D dimensional aspects. How is that to be constructed? How is the piping has to be routed? Those are the spatial related data. And then the general plan, what we call as the functional related data. These two together form the digital twin, which I'm sure you guys are hearing a lot. Single source of truth, digital twin is very, very important. So once the hull design is done, the 3D is generated. You will design from the 3D, what is the steel structure, how is the mechanical equipments done, how is the piping done, how is the HVAC done, how is the pneumatic done, how is it placed, hydraulics, a lot of aspects. At the same time, from the general plan, which is basically on the 2-dimensional side, you will get the functional data. It is process, piping and instrumentation diagram, HVAC diagrams, pneumatic diagrams, hydraulic diagrams. These are all in 2D. Now, there lies a challenge. There are some companies or some solution providers who can give you a complete solution where 3D and 2D can coexist together. Though on paper it is available, but in practicality, the 3D and 2D usually are disconnected. They don't work together. And this is where EPLAN plays a very important or a very crucial role. As you can see right in the middle, we have something called a database connector, which is part of EPLAN configuration or structure itself, where we connect both the 3D and the 2D data together. You know, it's very crucial. Sometimes this feels very trivial, or this needs to be there anyway, isn't it? But in the practical term, it never exists. You change the 3D, 2D doesn't change automatically. You change the 2D, 3D doesn't change automatically. So that results in a lot of post-production problems when it comes to assembly. And EPLAN, in terms of our offering, provides a good bridge between the systems that are already existing to bridge this gap. And as you know, the systems are quite complex. There are a lot of PLM, ERP solutions available here which work together, which are supposed to do the job of coordinating these two aspects, but which does not happen. I will show in next 3 slides how EPLAN works in this angle, right? Now you get the 3D data, you have the 3D data. EPLAN provides a system in which you can import this data either in 2D format or in an Excel format. We do it through a product called pre-planning, wherein this data is imported inside EPLAN, and this data understands exactly the structure in which it has to be organized, whether for it is P&ID utilization or HVAC utilization, or flow utilization, or even electrical drawing utilization. Once the data comes inside, you use our either fluid module or the electric P8 module to do the detailed engineering portion. Now, do a shipyard does it itself? No, it is usually outsourced. So I will take you through the next slide how this outsourcing can be managed, how these collaborations can be managed. But the point here is the biggest tool that is being used today is Excel, and this Excel or 2D drawings from DWG or DXF can be imported inside EPLAN platform and very well be utilized. And once this is done, you get all your detailed engineering drawings, you design your panel, you make your cable layouts, you do your sorry, I went a little too fast. You do your downstream applications and manage the whole data set through your ERP or PLM system or both. Now, when it comes to a subcontractor, you outsource this data, your engineering to subcontractor. You do not do a panel engineering, or you do not do your automation engineering yourself. You usually outsource to a system integrator or a panel builder, right? The data that is exported to him is either on an AutoCAD format or an Excel format. You need a data connector which either exports this data or imports the data to integrate it, and also integrate that with your 3D data, which is done in a separate system, and EPLAN, which is your application if you choose to do your electrical, HVAC, and other applications. So we have a good data structuring tool inside, which is, by the way, not a separate product in itself, or it is the basis in which EPLAN is organized. Just an example here, you have a ship design in a 2D format. You can export this design into EPLAN either to a text file or a CSV file or an XML file or a Excel file. And you see on the right corner, it is automatically structured through our pre-planning. Or you can take the DWG as well into the fold and then use it for detailed engineering. What you get end of the day is the device list, list of fitting, cable list, pipeline list, a room book which is specific to shipbuilding company, or a documentation. Now here comes the example in a maritime landscape of a shipbuilder. I'm just explaining how the 3D environment and 2D environments get connected. 3D piping is related to your process and instrumentation diagram. HVAC in 3D is again linked to the HVAC in pre-planning for P&I, single line diagrams. Same is true with cable lays with electrical, or your cable routing, or your panel design for 3D visualization of a panel. Everything under one database for your downstream application of a system view or a room view, because each are these are called outfitting models in the ship terminology, which is each room you need a separate report to come out, all integrated through a ERP or PLM or both. The specific importance of being the data connector, which EPLAN provides seamlessly through actually our pre-planning model. Now this is one example through Wärtsilä. This is a technical specification for 2D draft. You get it inside the EPLAN format. It's a hybrid power module, wherein the whole engineering, when it comes to functional design, is done using EPLAN for whether it is electrical, or process and instrumentation, piping and instrumentation side. Right now, there lies a big gap between the 3D and the 2D, which is not integrated, and that is the space in which EPLAN plays a very vital role. I know this is quite a complex explanation. We have very little time to get into details. So if you need more details, I will provide my contact details in my last slide. But this is how we do our customer engagement. We start it through consulting, understand the customer's requirement, configure the solution, then provide the training, and then work with the customer into a detailed implementation plan. As a global company, we have global support, and we have one unique practice in EPLAN called EPLAN Experience, in which we do consulting for our customers in 8 fields, from their IT infrastructure to their design methods to the way they are structuring their products and various aspects of it, including ERP, EPLM connectors. With this, I would thank you for your attention, and these are my contact details. If you have any question, please mention in the chat box. I'll try and answer at the end of the session.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Pai. Excellent presentation, taking you through the various initiatives from the EPLAN sides on the software part of the EPLAN for the Indian maritime industry. Now I would like to invite our next speaker, Mr. 𝐕𝐃𝐌𝐀, who is the product manager, who will talk on the presentation on the marine equipment provider engineering for a better world from GEA. Over to you, Vipin.
Thanks a lot, Sandeep. Thank you, Umesh, and thank you, Shigal, for the wonderful presentation and the wonderful thought you both have provided. So I would just like to start from the point where they have stopped. So I would like to talk about GEA as a marine equipment provider. Strongly strive to engineer for a better world. So talking about me, myself, 𝐕𝐃𝐌𝐀, a product manager with GEA Westphalia Separator for our global marine business. I have completed my bachelor's from India, and I managed to pursue my master's from Germany, and I also have my executive MBA from 𝐼𝐴𝐺. So before joining GEA, I myself was a sailor on board a ship. So today, from GEA's product lines, we are into diversified business and almost all application products we could provide. But our today's focus is about marine, and I'll be talking about our marine product portfolio. As you can see from our portfolio picture, we are basically into 2 core technologies: refrigeration and mechanical separation. Apart from that, we do have seawater desalination, but our core product portfolio is from separation and refrigeration. Let's start about separation. Then I will start with our innovative product, the direct drive separator, which has been introduced to the market nearly 2 years back, which is a big success. And GEA is the only one who still now, GEA is the only one who could develop such a technology. With this innovative design, we could reduce the footprint up to 50%, and reduce power consumption is possible because of the compact design. Also, less CO2 footprint and less number of parts will indeed direct to less service cost. And I'll detail about our service simplicity in the coming slides, but I would further continue with the portfolio what we are having with the separation at the moment. Our separator portfolio has been recently upgraded with the direct drive, So gear marine separator is the standard device here, which is used for fuel oil, diesel oil, and lube oil purification on board. And then comes our prime version, which is a premium product, including gear marine separator and gear marine upgrade kit. So upgrade kit itself is a number of tools which could enhance or improve the performance of the existing separators, like fuel loss reduction, sludge saving up to 50%, power consumption reduction, CO2 emission reduction. All this is possible with the gear marine upgrade kit. And gear marine upgrade kit itself is a product which can be offered to the customers who are having the previous versions of our separators. And then comes our bilge separator, which is an extended version of our bilge master, the previous version, with the direct drive technology, much more compact than the previous bilge separator. And also we will further continue with the OSC, the latest version of the direct drive for the Navy application, which is a big customer of us, and for the existing customers. I would like to show you a video about our service simplicity and how we are able to support our customers with the servicing of our direct drive machines.
How to order an exchange drive unit for the gear marine separator. This is Frank, Chief Engineer on board of a vessel, running the new gear marine separator. After 2 years, Frank has to order an exchange drive unit encased in a reusable box. He asks his local gear organisation to order and deliver it to an address of his choice, worldwide. After ordering the exchange drive unit, Monica, our trained gear employee, receives the order, organises shipping with Incoterms 2010X works to the desired agency address and issues the invoice. The local gear organisation then issues the invoice to Frank accordingly, and off we go. This is Paul, an agent at the port. After the order process has been initiated, he receives the exchange drive unit and brings it on board for Frank. Thanks to our service simplicity concept, the ship crew can do the exchange themselves in a short time. Afterwards, they pack the old unit in the reusable box, fill out the delivered documents, PhD and return pages, with the help of the included manual, and send everything back to the Gear Centre of Excellence. If the return documents have been lost, Frank can fill out empty documents that are inside the box. Frank returns the old exchange drive unit packaged in the reusable box with the return documents to the Gear Centre of Excellence at his cost. Peter, the agent at the port, helps him. Peter receives the old exchange drive unit and sends it back with Incoterms DDP, timely, no later than 3 weeks after the physical exchange. Once the Gear Centre of Excellence receives everything in time, the incoming goods will get a visual inspection of the reusable box, documents and the seal of the exchange drive unit to be sure that it remains undamaged. At this point of time, the Gear Headquarter will issue a credit note to the local gear organisation. The credit amount can be found on the order confirmation. To complete the order process, the Gear local organisation then issues a respective credit note to Frank. That was easy. Any questions left? To learn more about the internal order process, please contact the Service Order Desk Headquarter.
Thanks for watching. I would like to further continue. So with the service, with the drive exchange, we can simplify the service concept, and the precision jobs can be handled by our experts in gear. and the shipboard crew can need not to worry about the drive maintenance. So now I'm coming to our next product range in the refrigeration segment. As you can see, we are offering piston screw compressor packages for deep freezing and provision cooling application and related equipment. This is basically for fish trawlers and cruise industry. And the important thing we should look into is GEA as a sustainable solution provider. Always focus on sustainable solutions. Here we are offering natural refrigerants for the refrigeration application, like CO2 and ammonia. CO2 transcritical and subcritical products are offered for cruise and passenger vessel industry. And within this technology, we are one of the only provider who could handle such high-end application. And we believe that the natural refrigerants are going to be the future, and from the environment perspective, natural refrigerants has got importance for the shipping as well. Next, I would like to discuss about our facility in India. We have an excellent production facility available in Bangalore. This has been set up long back, but recently expanded to our new campus setup, where we have the skid manufacturing facility available. We could handle complex skids with our technologies available in our skid development area. So our experts can handle our customer requirements based on which application or which requirement the customer is having. So you could see that we could develop flame-proof or X-proof designs, or trolley design, or even complex customer design skids for the marine application or other applications. And I would like to show you some of the references we have completed so far. We completed OSC 10 skids for Goa Shipyard, one of our customer, OSC 2 for L&T Kochi Shipyard, and OSC 20 for Hindustan Shipyard. Apart from this, we have ongoing projects for Indian Navy. Indian Navy is a strong customer of us, and there are more projects in the pipeline. Now, I would like to talk about the trend, what is happening in maritime sector. So we all know that the shipping is also moving towards green era because the carbon emission is going to be a problem for the universe, and IMO has come up with stringent regulations and guidelines to achieve this zero carbon shipping. So we could see that from the graph. This I've taken from DNV website, but it's available everywhere in internet, that we need to achieve 40% CO2 reduction by 2030 and 50% overall emission reduction by 2050 and CO2 reduction of 70% by 2050. So with the existing technology, existing machineries, it is nearly impossible to achieve these goals, and GEA is not exempted for this. So we are also moving with the market trend, and we are stepping into the new developments, like LNG fuel ships are going to be a trend. I mean, LNG still has got some content of carbon, but compared to crude oil, it's way less. So LNG is a transition fuel which is trending in the market, and where we are planning to enter with our partner in Asia. So this product will be available soon in the market, this fuel gas supply system for LNG fuel vessels. And we GEA, our experts are working with the industry experts for the development of ammonia fuel and methanol fuel ship equipment. So that's all from my side, and I'll be available throughout the webinar and after the Q&A session. If you have any questions, please come up. Thank you.
Thank you, Bipin, for inviting the audience on the various separation and the refrigeration technology available with GEA. So now, friends, I would like to invite our next speaker, Mr. Michael Lipthal, to talk on the Lechler product portfolio for the maritime spray solutions. Over to you, Mr. Lechler.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sandeep. It's a pleasure for me to introduce Lechler to this maritime industry today. Thank you very much to VDMA that we have this opportunity here. We turn liquids into tools. What does it mean? Let's jump in. First of all, I would like to introduce Lechler with a few words. After that, we will have an overview about the applications where nozzles could be used. And later on, we will go a little bit more in detail of some nozzles. Let me introduce myself with a few words. I'm Michael Liptal and the product manager for ship nozzles at the industry division at Lechler, Germany. I'm working for Lechler since more than 22 years now and long time also in the maritime business. Engineering your space solution, that's our claim, as you can see here in the logo. But it's not only a claim for us, it's our passion. And this passion really brought us to Europe's #1 in nozzles. 45,000 specific products results in more than 10 million produced nozzles per year and a turnover of 108 millions. Lechler is globally positioned and the world market leader for nozzles which are used in the steel and cement industry as well as in the tank cleaning. The base for this success. This is our most modern technology center in Metzingen, and here we develop all the nozzles, having several big test rooms, and we are also working close together with some universities, and of course we are open for customers to visit us and do some tests with us. As I said before, we are globally presented. The headquarters of Lechler is in Metzingen. We have 6 production facilities all over the world, also in India, and more than 40 representatives worldwide. And if we go to Lechler directly, Lechler was originally founded in 1879 in Germany, and Lechler India was founded in 1993. 2018 already, we could proudly celebrate our 25th anniversary, and in 2020 we inaugurate a new manufacturing unit in Dahej. So we are really located in India for a long time. The headquarters of Lechler India is in Thane, including a manufacturing unit, and together with this manufacturing unit in Dahej, we produce more than 70% of the catalog range from Lechler for the local as well as international market based on international fabrication standards. So, what can Lechler do for you, and what can be nozzles used in the maritime shipbuilding? There are cleaning applications, window cleaning, for example, NBC protection, exhaust gas cleaning, firefighting applications, fire protection, for example, on helicopter landing decks, on lifeboats, on ammunition room in the Navy, also on hatch covers, as well as a lot of cooling applications. Reduction diode, infrared signature, exhaust gas flows of cooling, and so on. There are a huge variety of options. Let us step a little bit more in detail concerning the applications. For example, there are full cone nozzles for hatch covers, for fire protection and fire extinguishing. Furthermore, flat jet nozzles are between the container stacks to rise up a rain curtain. In case of one container stack gets in fire, there's a protection to the other container stacks. by the rain curtain. Nozzles for window cooling, window washing, sorry, on the bridge windows. Also, tangential full core nozzle for gas tank cooling, because they're getting quite hot during the day, so they can be cooled. Furthermore, firefighting nozzles on helicopter decks, droplet separators for the air intake of the machine engine to prevent this engine air from droplets. Additionally, as I said before, nozzles for firefighting or fire protection on lifeboats. That reduces a lot of costs because less piping, you just have some nozzles and that's it, only a few, no more piping at less maintenance cost, and better handling. That's quite impressive for that one. Window cooling, droplet separators, firefighting nozzles for helicopter decks, and especially, for example, for offshore vessels, which have firefighting or fire extinguishing equipment on board. They can also be protected on the hull with some deflector plate nozzles, which cooling the hull to prevent it against the fire. If we go to the cruise liners, there are some helicopter deck nozzles also used in the yachts. You do not need any additional equipment for fire extinguishing on deck. It's just installing the nozzle completely with the same level of the deck and no outstanding parts when it is not in use. So that's especially interesting for yachts and cruise liners because they do not need any additional equipment, and it's a smooth surface then. Window washing nozzle again, and for example on cruise liners it's quite interesting and more common also on other ships, the tank washing. Spray balls or rotating tank cleaning nozzles which are cleaning the wastewater tanks, the black water tanks. Then an additional application is the scrubbing technology. Here Lechler prevents full core nozzles as well as the droplet separators, and nevertheless also to protect the environmental. Also DeNOx nozzles with lances, mostly twin flute nozzles, to reduce the NOx emission on the engines, and especially quite often used in mega or super yachts, flat jet nozzles for anchor chain washing. When we step over from the cruise liners or to the civil marine to the Navy, there are also a lot of nozzles in use. For example, NBC washdown systems. There are a huge amount of nozzle used in the Navy. They are installed completely on the same deck level, only popping up when liquid is turned on or the water. So the deflector plate pops up, cleans the deck, and then go back. Here for different mounting options and a similar nozzle spraying backwards, also for hull cooling to reduce the infrared signature of the ship. Furthermore, some special nozzles to protect or clean objects on deck, so they can specially adjust it, as well as tangential hollow core nozzles to cool down the ammunition rooms if outside is a fire. So that's a fire protection nozzle, which is inside the ammunition room installed. Furthermore, multiple spray nozzles for exhaust gas cooling, firefighting again, and special nozzles when gas turbines are used and the exhaust gas is at the backside of the ship. Here we can have the option of some special nozzle heads which protect the gas stream in front of the infrared signature. Well, one particular application came very popular in the last years. That's the scrubbing technology. For the scrubber process itself, you need spray nozzles to keep the process ongoing. Furthermore, there are some nozzles used also for chilling the exhaust gas before entering the scrubber to get the right temperature inside the scrubber. That means for the scrubbing process, you have to add water. On the other side, we have the droplet separators, which taking the droplets out of the exhaust gas. But the droplet separators has to be cleaned too. So there are some nozzles which are requested. That means we remove the water out. And this combination is very unique and a standalone combination worldwide, which Lechler offers. We add the water on one side and we remove the water on the other side. If we go in detail, we have a huge variety of mainly full cone nozzles which are in use here with different flow rates, different spray angles, really customized to your application. Droplet separators, a various kind of design options, rectangular, horizontal design, in combination with the nozzles for the cleaning of them. That's one of the options, and also the chilling nozzles in front of the scrubber. In general, when we repeat that completely, we have the window washing nozzles and rain curtain. That's mainly full cone and flat jet nozzles, especially for the rain curtain. For the gas tank cooling, you mainly use tangential full cone nozzles, cleaning of gray or black water tanks. There can be used spray balls as well as rotating tank cleaning nozzle. It depends a little bit on the size of the tank and the positions where the nozzle can be placed. But for cleaning, they are quite efficient. The anchor chain cleaning with flat jet nozzles, and also twin fluid nozzles with lenses to reduce the NOx emissions of a ship. Here we have also an example where Lechler India and Lechler Germany worked close together with some customers. A typical lens for exhaust gas cooling in gas turbines or diesel engines. Their nozzles and lenses are delivered from Lechler, also droplet sizes and so on, which we can offer. If we go ahead with the firefighting, we talked about a lot of firefighting in the past. And here there's a special nozzle which is installed in the deck of the helicopter landing platforms, for example, on yachts, on passenger, also on Navy ships, or offshore platforms, as well as on land applications, hospitals, aircraft hangars, for example. There are two flow rate sizes available, a spray cycle up to 9 meters and a spray height up to 5 meters. The spray of the nozzle exceeds the CAP 437, which is a regulation for the firefighting decks. We would have the option now, Mr. Sandeep, we could just show the video shortly, if possible. Otherwise, we can later do that on the end of the presentation. Otherwise, I go ahead. Firefighting nozzles are divided in low pressure nozzles as well as high pressure nozzles. Here, Lechler has a cooperation with the 𝐕𝐾𝐻 firefighting company in India. Here we are working close with them for single fluid high pressure water mist systems, for example, for naval applications, naval dockyards, and all the other shipbuilders, mainly high pressure nozzle, and Lechler itself is doing the low pressure systems. Another possibility and application, and as well as a project we have at the moment, are the development of firefighting systems for magazines. Here, Lechler India is manufacturing and delivering the complete nozzles directly made in India, and this is working together with a lot of partners quite well. If we go from the civil applications more or less to the marine and navy applications, we have the nozzles which are installed in the NBC washdown system. When we remember on the slide with the navy ship, here we have several nozzles in different connection options, as well as installing options from topside or from inside the ship to the outside. These nozzles are made mainly out of aluminum brass. They pop up when they are in use, the deflector plate in the middle, and go back when they are not in use. You can see here in the middle a picture how nozzles are spraying for hull cooling and to cool down the hull from the infrared or to prevent the infrared signature. And if we go to one of the last slides here on the picture, we see just the NBC washdown system in use. I've taken these pictures from a YouTube video from ThyssenKrupp. This ship is completely equipped with Lechler nozzles, as well as nozzles for the exhaust gas cooling and exhaust gas protection from infrared. So they are placed in the backside of the ship, and also on all objects and decks they are nozzle placed. That already brings me to the end of the presentation. I would like to ask, what can Lechler do for you? Please do not hesitate to contact Lechler India or contact Lechler International in Germany also. For in any cases of questions, don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Liptal, for your presentation on the maritime spray solutions. Friends, your next speaker will talk on how to find the right engagement clutch for an optimal vessel performance and the economic system integration due to each required vessel duty. Now, I'd like to invite our next speaker, Mr. Michael Kentamish, Industry Manager, Ortlinghaus Marine Propulsion Technology. Over to you, Mr. Kentamish.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sandeep, and thank you, VDMA, for the invitation, and very interesting for me to have a look at other business than clutches and brakes, which is Ortlinghaus manufacturing. And the company has a long history since 1898 with a headquarters in Germany. In this presentation, I will describe typical propulsion trains and explain our hydraulically actuated clutches with operation modes, and then show some application examples. In general, there are seen two major propulsion trains in the vessel market with four-stroke engines. Either the Z-drives with a 360-degree rotable propeller drive, and the conventional propeller drives where a separate reduction gearbox is installed between diesel engine and propeller. For both propulsion options, Ortlinghaus can provide all kinds of clutch and brake solutions to transmit the power from diesel to propeller. Let's have a deeper look on the Z-drive solution. The sail direction of the vessel is given by the rotation of the vertical axis of the thruster over 360 degrees. The reduction gear step from engine nominal speed to propeller speed is integrated in the upper gearbox. In order to start sailing, the propeller needs to be synchronized to the diesel engine speed. And this task is fulfilled by our clutches, which can either be attached to the upper gearbox or integrated inside. For the operation of our hydraulically actuated clutches, Ortlinghaus provides oil inlets and, as option, brakes to stop the propeller and avoid unwished propeller rotation. Most commonly, these Z-drives are seen in tugboats or ferries, for example. Alternatively to Z-drive propulsion, the conventional propulsion train has a separate reduction gearbox between diesel and propeller. Here, the rudder at the stern is able to set the sailing direction of the vessel. Again, synchronization of the diesel engine to the propeller requires a clutch, which can either be attached to the gearbox or being integrated. Any combustion engine like dual fuel with LNG or other new upcoming fuel alternatives can be connected to the propeller in this way with our clutches. Typical applications where conventional propulsion is being found are in fishing vessels, offshore and crew transfer vessel, as well as in a naval vessel. An example of such a naval vessel is the frigate. Here the conventional drive with separate gearbox is commonly used. These kind of vessels generally are real fast sailing, and that is why water jets are often used instead of screw drives. Our clutch portfolio is suitable for both drive options and is usually integrated in the gearboxes. The main task of the clutch can be synchronizing the propeller speed to diesel speed and shifting from one prime mover to the other. This example here shows the combination of a gas turbine and diesel engine, where the engagement mode can be chosen via the clutch. Additionally, our clutches are used for PTO, power take-off, and PTI, power take-in engagement of drives for the deck machinery and auxiliary drives. In general, Ortlinghaus recommends for the marine main propulsion hydraulically actuated wet running clutch solutions as first choice. These multi-plate clutches consist of a plate stack with friction linings that run against steel discs. When the clutch piston is pressurized, an axial force on the plate stack will compress the inner and outer plates to transmit the torque by friction. Besides the sinter and steel plates, the oil in between decides for the torque that actually can be transmitted based on the specific friction coefficient. And Ortlinghaus provides an oil reference list where all kinds of oils are listed that are recommended for the use in our systems to reach the friction values required. When the pressure is released, the disc will be separated by means of springs, so that the shaft and housing are no longer in contact and can rotate separately. Over the controlled hydraulic engagement by a piston, a smooth and sensitive vessel acceleration is realized. This will help masters to control even critical maneuvers safely. Additionally to the piston pressure, we use hydraulic oil for cooling of the clutch in an active cooling circuit. In this, the heat generated during slipping of the clutch can be dissipated and optimal clutch performance up to the thermal limits is achieved. Big advantage of such a wet running system is the wear-free operation, which guarantees a long lifetime and reliable operation. In dynamic processes, heat will always be generated. And Ortlinghaus clutch selection for each project guarantees that the clutch will not exceed the thermal limits of each clutch component when operated within the given driving data. So with an active cooling oil circuit, effective cooling is provided. Especially when an extended slipping for a state-of-the-art vessel performance is required, active cooling is absolutely essential. The use of hydraulic oil offers a far better controlled engagement at optimal friction power to clutch size ratio than a pneumatic actuation can provide. Sinus-shaped plates support a good separation of the open clutch so that a full disconnection of the drivetrain can be achieved. This allows a good on-off engagement for our standard clutches with a sensitive propeller acceleration. And due to a controlled hydraulic pressure build-up with smooth transition from dynamic to static torque transmission, we finally reach a loss-free torque transmission for the fully engaged clutch. For a sophisticated vessel operation, a slow-running controlled propeller rotation is essentially required. How to reach slow sailing at a speed lower than the diesel engine can provide? A permanent slipping clutch is a very economic choice for that, which can be combined with a fixed pitch propeller, FPP. Here, the easier maintenance of a fixed pitch propeller compared to a controllable pitch propeller provides additional advantage. Most relevant parameters for a safe operation with slipping clutch to consider are the differential speed between diesel and propeller and the effective propeller load. And our clutch selection is mainly based on the maximum friction power that the clutch can stand compared with the calculated effective friction power. And additionally, we determine the cooling oil flow that is required to facilitate permanent slipping without any time limit. The implementation of a slipping clutch feature offers extended and easier vessel performance. The easier a vessel is to maneuver, the easier the next step to autonomous vessel operation will be, and safety is definitely increased. One example where a permanent slipping clutch can be installed is inside a separate reduction gearbox. For the oil actuation and cooling, we provide oil inlets that can feed the oil through the shaft. When the piston is pressurized, the plate stack will be compressed to engage the clutch. Additionally to the clutch, we can provide a separate control unit with all certified valves and sensors in one block, plus a diagnostic device for condition monitoring and remote maintenance. The masters at the helm will attain full control on the vessel. A total self-sufficient clutch system solution with permanent slipping feature is our PropAct system. This separate unit can easily be placed between the diesel engine and thruster, for example, as plug-and-play solution. All components that are required to operate and control the clutch are integrated in one unit. The main component is actually our hydraulically actuated clutch, and additionally, we have added a brake that fulfills two features: static holding to keep the propeller in fixed position when needed, and a dynamic braking so that the slipping range can be extended to almost zero propeller speed. When the diesel is running, a pump drive is simultaneously activated over a chain drive so that we generate our own actuation pressure and cooling oil flow. And besides the clutch unit, Ortlinghaus provides a control and monitoring unit for the engine room and additionally a control panel for the wheelhouse. I would like to point out once again the advantages of a permanent slipping clutch, which is good to see in this propulsion example. How is it actually possible to reduce the propeller speed below diesel engine idle speed? Based on the diesel engine and separate reduction gearbox with standard on-off clutch, the speed variation in the low speed region is rather limited. In detail, this means the variable speed of the engine is actually idle to nominal speed. The following gearbox allows a speed reduction due to the gear ratio, and with fully engaged on-off clutch, this will result in the final propeller speed. Let's have a look on a data example. For a diesel engine with 1800 RPM nominal speed and 700 RPM idle speed, a gear ratio of 5, this will result in a propeller speed of 140 RPM. By means of a slipping clutch with controlled slipping between drive and driven side, we can further reduce the speed down to almost zero. A very sophisticated application for a slipping clutch is the firefighting operation in a tugboat.
Just to interrupt, Mr. Kantamich, you have 3 minutes more. Thank you.
Okay. When using our system solution PropAct, the firefighting pump operation and station keeping can be efficiently realized over one single main engine. By means of a clutch system, the total engine power is shared to the firefighting pump and the thruster drive. And with the slipping feature, an extended slipping range is possible to control the vessel for station keeping during the fire extinguishing operation. And coming to my last slide, Ortlinghaus can also provide solutions for green shipping like hybrid propulsion. Here, our clutches are used to engage either the electric motor to the propeller or the diesel engine. So the clutch is actually used to choose between the different operation modes with the electric motor and in a power take-in constellation. So same PTI power take-in solution is possible either for Z drives or conventional drives with reduction gearbox. So thank you very much for your attention, and back to Sandeep. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kantamich, for an insightful presentation on the marine drive technology side, actually. So now it's my pleasure to invite our last speaker, Mr. 𝐕𝐵𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐺, for his presentation on the cyber security and the performance monitoring solution for marine. Over to you, Mr. 𝐕𝐵𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐺.
Thank you, Mr. Roy. And I would like to congratulate VDMA team to organize such a nice session for Indian Maritime. And I would like to thank you for this opportunity to present us. So let me start with my presentation. I am 𝐕𝐵𝐴𝐺𝐸𝐺, Business Development Head, working with Phoenix Contact now more than 15 years. Basically, Phoenix Contact is a German-based MNC, and Phoenix Contact India is a 100% subsidiary of Phoenix Contact Germany. So our global headquarters is in Blomberg, near to Hanover. And Phoenix Contact is a 3 billion euro company with more than 100 plus subsidiaries over the globe and 25,000 employees. So it's really good we are really very close to our customers. Yeah, it's really a 100-year-old company, started in 1923, and now we are talking about clouds or cybersecurity kind of technologies or the trends in the industries. Basically, as a Phoenix Contact, we have 60,000 articles with us, with the really excellent products, with the innovative systems we would like to serve to our customer with the inspiring solution as per the customer requirements. That is what our mission is. Our journey for the marine, it started with 2007 and now almost 15 years. And we started with our applicative system redundancy to make it sure it has to work. And that is what our motto or say our journey to say about marine industries. So these are our really valuable customers. Yeah, but there are many more. When we talk about it's a maritime, which is really a critical application, and where we say that no failures or not a single failure points where we talk about the complete automation system in this industry. And that's what our solution we offer. It's a redundancy. So redundancy in all the manners, it starts with the visualization or say the control technology, networking, up to the IO level. And when we say that it's really critical, it's with our applicative system redundancy, we are making sure everything is running in the well directions. Basically, when we talk about the redundancy perspective, the network redundancy, where we are talking about the multiple protocols like media redundancy protocol, or say the RSTP, rapid spanning tree protocol, which is nowadays about all the things we are talking about digitalization or all the Ethernet infrastructure as a networking. We have this kind of, say, managed kind of switches which can support this MRP and ensure that there is no disturbances into the communication. At the opposite side, like we are talking about the controller side redundancy, so it's really a hot redundant or say soft redundant solutions from Phoenix Contact. In terms of the visualization, when we talk about visualization with respect to the security, now the now there's the technology or the protocols like OPC UA is supported from us. And the most important, because nowadays everyone is talking about the digitalization, and in digitalization the most important parameter is the data, and to make it sure like all the data gets synchronized locally on the vessel, but at the same time in the cloud where all the analysis need to be done. So this is what our idea, and as all the blocks, if we can combine together as an automation solution provider, yes, all these blocks are available with us, and we can really help to improve your systems or to make the system running. When we are talking about this nowadays, like small vessels or really big ships, there are plenty of data, because all the Mr. Senegal mentioned in his presentation about the MTP or the digitalization. Mr. Pai is also mentioned about the same thing. So in all this direction, it's really important is the data, and most important to segment this data. Otherwise, there are thousands of signals, plenty of data, millions of data from one ship need to be managed in a well way. Like controlling data or controlling network gets separated from the IT area, so that we can ensure that the data or the communication or the control system not going to hamper because of such a huge data collection from the system for the analysis. And that's the idea about our separation of the networks. So the idea from Phoenix Contact to make a 2 subnet, or to make a 1 subnet for the say control and 1 subnet for the visualization or the say machine learning kind of algorithms to do some prediction kind of stuff, which can really help to the system to make in the smooth way, because of the millions of data points are collecting or traveling from the IO level or from the sensors to the visualization systems or towards the cloud. It's a good idea to go for the network separation. That's what our proposal to the industries in terms of moving towards the digitalization of the vessels. But at the conventional way for the ships, small ships where we are talking about less data points and all, so yes, as a conventional we have this kind of solution where there is no really network separation required, but redundancies and all these stuffs are required. So that's the solution offering from Phoenix Contact. So basically, I would like to discuss about few references, like how we achieve. So mainly the maneuvering control systems from Phoenix Contact. And this is how the really openness from the system from the Phoenix Contact. It's really a 3 different independent Ethernet network on the ship, which cannot means it's like a 3 times redundancy to the systems. When we talk about the red lines or blue lines, and there is a manual control with the green lines, it can ensure that these are the 3 independent subnets or 3 independent networks which can ensure that the system is live, the system is in contact with each other, and that's how the system works. So this is a control computer A, where all this maneuvering control system decisions take care, and rest all the data are shifting from this computers to the PLC system from Phoenix, and then to the managed network switches, which can ensure the availability of the system. Then this is the one really good project related to the India as well. So, and it gives really the representation of Phoenix Contact, like because the manufacturer of this ferries, electric ferries in Netherlands, the BMS supplies from Sweden, or the alarm management system is done in India. So it's really a good presence of Phoenix Contact, like we are supplying in different part of the world our automation solution. So this is a BMS electric ferries, say popular automation. In this case, like in the city Copenhagen, they have this ferries, and in India, Kochi Metro Rail, they are adopting a separate, say I would say, the systems for this. So in Copenhagen, it's like a redundant system. So with our applicative system redundancy solution, all the like PLCs are controlling these two propeller redundantly. But in the Kochi system, there is no redundant, it's a complete parallel system. So two independent propeller are taken care by port side controllers, or say starboard side controller. Same with the vessel management for the same Kochi Metro. This is again the vessel management system which is supplied by our Indian customer. So here we are talking about again the redundant system with the say port side and starboard side PLC systems. This gives us a really flexibility to the users or to the system integrators or to the EPCs to choose from the really broad basket from our automation product line. And all these products are like all the required certification qualities are making sure like to offer to your customer the right product line. Basically, when everyone is nowadays talking about the digitalization or industry 4.0 or maritime 4.0 kind of concept, when we are talking about so many things about openness and all the different perspective of the connected vessels or something like that. But the most important, when we are talking about the openness of the system, we need to take care or to protect the systems also, because in this crazy there are some crazy stuffs are there, and these are the different possibilities to get the vessel like say system manipulated. And whenever we are talking about the say cyber attacks, it's not a next door pain now in all the industries everywhere. Whenever we are talking about digitalization or connected device, we need to take care about these threats like phishing emails or social media links, and yeah, done. So these are some calculation to make it sure, like to show it to all. It's not a now next door pain area. The cyber attacks is to everywhere and every individuals, because we are talking about all the things like connected your mobile phones or banking accounts or connected cars, connected vessels, everything. And this is how the data say that like this risk is now everywhere, and this is really easy. There is a one protocol, one say I would say the portal show them, and if you just as a fun, if you can visit that and see that what's going on in this area, it's so easy. If you make a small mistake or any manual mistake, to keep your one connected device open, and it's done. So this is really very, very important to take care of your systems, and this where Phoenix Contact play a role in this maritime security blueprint. It is not only the PLC systems with the cyber security as per IC 62443, but Phoenix Contact can offer a firewalls. Phoenix Contact can offer a complete say services to design your cyber security, even to take care for the remote maintenance kind of thing, because in the vessels it's nowadays it's really often need to take care like to collect the data from the ports from the vessel, send it to the cloud for the further analysis or for maintenance perspective to take a control, to make it sure like your system need to be reliable and secured from the cyber attacks. Phoenix Contact can offer you the complete solution in terms of the product line and the services. when we talk about this, like it's not a one-day practice. It is like every day you need to improve the systems, and that's how the blueprint from Phoenix Contact. If something get identified, we have to say stop it, and then we have to take the corrective actions for the future. So it's a really continuous process with the certification. And yes, Phoenix Contact can offer you the product line which can support IEC 62443 4-1 and 2, which is the cyber secured PLC system from Phoenix Contact. Then Phoenix Contact has a cyber security product like firewall. And then when we go to the complete system offer, so Phoenix Contact Germany is a certified agency to design the system as for cybersecurity, like IC 62443 3-3. So as I mentioned, so these are the products from the Phoenix Contact. Looks cyber secure PLC systems, firewalls, and the solutions or the services. Now, next to the point which I would like to discuss in terms of the performance monitoring. So one of our system integrator, Mac System, they developed the systems by using Phoenix Contact hardware, which is MRV ready, which is required whenever your vessel or ship go to the European port, so need some reporting about fuel and car CO2 emissions and something like that. But it's really a black box kind of stuff, which can collect all information from the different systems from the vessel, collect it and put it into the database compatible format or towards the cloud. And then the experts do the analytics on that and can offer you the lots of services like the contract between the ship owner and the ship users, or whenever on the ports they want some different kind of reports, it is available to present them. So this is a complete data collection system which is really open. And as Mr. 𝐵𝐴𝐺𝐿 mentioned in his presentation about MTP adaptability, to collect the data from the different mechanisms like energy, some engines or propeller systems and all, and put it in the report format. That is what the offering, and to evaluate the system performance or what is the real system working. So it's like a digital signature, so you that compare every day your ship performance, or you can cross analysis with the two vessels. There are multiple possibilities get open with this kind of approach. So this is, I would say, from my side. If you have any queries or if you are looking for any automation solution, yeah, Phoenix Contact is there globally with you. And in India, I already have my connects. So please, if you have any question towards the cybersecurity or automation in the maritime, please contact us, and please consider Phoenix Contact as a good and reliable partner for your solution. Thank you.
So thank you very much to all the speakers, Mr. Schlegel, Mr. Pai, Mr. Vipin Joy, Mr. Lipthal, Mr. Kentamish, and Mr. Suryavanshi for the excellent presentation. I think very nice, elaborate presentation, detailed presentation. We are running short of time, but maybe we will quickly go through some questions. Mr. Schlegel, let me start with you. Now we know that energy transition is one of the important topics in Germany or in Europe, Mr. Schlegel. From the view of the German industry, which steps will be next when we talk about perhaps zero emission ships, Mr. Schlegel? Would you like to give us a short, elaborate that in brief, Mr. Schlegel?
Yes, yeah, thank you for the question. Yeah, that's a big question, a big issue for the complete industry. And this would take 2 more hours of speech here to explain everything. But and we have a big discussion in the European industry, in the German industry, the engine makers, and the shipbuilding industry, and all together. But just to make it very simple, we do not have the one solution for the future. We will have a mix of different fuels in future. For the beginning, for the first step, definitely LNG and hybrid solutions on board are technologies we already have, and they are ordered at the moment at a large scale from the shipyards. So that is already in business. But for the future, for the renewable fuels we need, there's not a decision about which is the best: methanol, ammonia, hydrogen, and so on and so on. They all are in the game, and it depends on the ship type. It will depend on the type of trade of the ship. So we will have to deal with the mixture of different solutions, which makes it very interesting for us as the industry, because we are solution providers. But we do not have the simple answer for all these issues of the future fuels for the shipping. And that makes it, on the one hand, complicated. On the other hand, it is a challenge for us and also a market for all of us. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schlegel. Mr. Lipthal, you also mentioned about the Lechler nozzles, perhaps for design scrubbers. The question here is, Mr. Lipthal, what about maintenance? How easy or how difficult is maintenance of these nozzles, especially when one is sailing?
During the sailing, of course, inside a scrubber, it's not possible to maintenance. But as soon as the engine is off, most of the time the nozzles are screwed in. There are other options, but just screw them out and change it. Delivery due to Lechler is presented worldwide. We can have quick deliveries all over the world for that.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Navy industry, it depends how they fit it into the ship. If they are fitted outside from outside, so you just can take them out. And when they are mounted from internally, they are we're having two options: a cartridge option. So in this way, you can take them out also from outside. And if they are assembled or installed not with the cartridge version, so you have to manage that from inside. But basically, changing the nozzle is not really a problem.
Thank you, Mr. Lipthal. Let me come to Gia and Ortlinghaus. Actually, it's a very interesting question. Maybe I would request both of you all to briefly give your views on that. An auto component manufacturer who is into precision components or parts, they have asked, can they diversify if they are looking to supply to the shipping or maritime industry? So what would be your suggestion here? Maybe Mr. Ķentević, I hope you got my question, Mr. Ķentević.
Yes, it's just I didn't get quite right what the question was. Components. Say
yes,
it again.
Mr. Ķentević, this is a question from one of the Indian manufacturers. He is presently making auto components, but precision parts. And he is asking if he wants to diversify into shipbuilding or maritime sector. Since he has experience with precision part, is that possible? Can he diversify into the maritime industry?
Let me say, the maritime industry is quite a conservative industry, and you need really a good reputation to be able to sell to customers. And Ortlinghaus has experience of more than 100 years, and we have quite a long, good reputation. So I think it's rather difficult to step into this business for someone who has not been linked to the maritime business before. But it depends, of course, which way they want to start and in which term of time they believe that they can gain some success. But of course, everybody is welcome to share this kind of business with us.
Right. Thank you. Vipin, would you like to also briefly comment on this?
I kind of partially agree with what Ortlinghaus mentioned. I mean, it's not an easy job to enter into the maritime industry because, yeah, I mean, there are regulations, there are class approvals, and equipments required a lot of approvals before a ship owner or shipyard buys his component. So it will be, I won't say it's impossible, but it is a challenging task for him.
Right. Thank you. Umesh, coming to you now, if you look at the shipbuilding industry, there are numerous stakeholders involved, Umesh. So looking at the current cloud trend, now what would be EPLAN's outlook here?
It's right now, as I mentioned, cloud is a big subject, and everyone wants to be on the cloud. Everyone wants to share the data. As 𝐕𝐾𝐽 also mentioned, there are a lot of security related issues and other things. EPLAN does have a good roadmap when it comes to cloud. Our motto is, we are ready when our customers are ready. Right? If they want it today, we have solutions now. But if they want to be ready by 2023, maybe we have more solutions by that time. So we do a lot of investments on the cloud side, but our offerings right now are both hybrid, on premises as well as on cloud. But the motto is, as I simply said, we are ready when our customers are ready.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Umesh. Coming to Mr. Sooryavanshi now. Phoenix Contact, Mr. Sooryavanshi, you mentioned also about the threats of cyber threats. Now, when we look at the maritime industry, how severe are these cyber threats? That is one question. And the second question is, what is the status of, or what is, if you look at level of automation in the shipbuilding or maritime industry? Would you say a few words on that? What is the present status there?
Yeah, sure. As every respectable speaker mentioned, it's an industry which is really an old industry, and now it is towards almost, I would say, in automation perspective. It's really, they are well aware. This industry is well aware about the automation, and casualness is, there is no chance in this industry. That is what the motto of this industry. So automation, I would say, they are really in the matured way. And now they are step by step, they are switching towards, because of the availability of the, say, possibilities like with the big databases or remote accessibility or maintenance perspective. So this industry is step by step shifting towards a digitalization. But yes, it is very, I would say, very cautiously. It's not really open-ended at this moment like other industries. But this industry's requirement is there, like the connectivity, and this, I would say, nowadays it is not stoppable. So this industry has to shift towards that direction because of the, specifically for the remote maintenance kind of stuff. And when it comes to the remote maintenance or the data shifting from one place to another place, the security or the cyber attacks is really common. And to take care about this, from the day one, if, as I mentioned, they are shifting to this direction, but cautiously, and that's why they are evaluating all the possibilities about to make their vessels or ships secured from this kind of attack. But a small mistake of a person, or it's like a manual mistake, can lead to a big trouble. And this is how this industry say that, okay, need to be well alert and think for this, all the possibilities when they shifted towards the clouds. And yeah.
Right. Thank you. Maybe the last question, Mr. Schlegel, this is from the company Ferrobotics. So they've asked, what is the level of automation in welding and grinding of hull panels and large sections of the ship? Do you see scope for such automation?
Yeah, a very special question, of course, but I see it differs a lot between the shipyards, the level of automation. I've seen shipyards which more or less hand work for this type of job. And in other shipyards like Meyer, for example, it's just fully automated. And so I see in the world shipbuilding industry, and that is our common market, there's a big need for more of these automation of this work.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Schlegel. I think, friends, with that we would have to conclude the session today. So again, on behalf of VDMA, first of all, I would like to thank all our speakers. I think excellent presentations, and if you are open to the fact we would share your presentation also with the participants. I would also like to thank all the participants who have joined this session today. And I think the session today, very important session, because certainly shipbuilding can contribute largely to India's plan of increasing its output in the manufacturing sector. And as we strive to become a $5 trillion economy by 24 or 25, and the manufacturing industry has to play a role and contribute about $1 trillion to this $5 trillion dream. And I think shipbuilding industry can certainly be, has a multiplier effect and employment generation effect also, and gives a lot of scope for MSMEs also to participate in this industry. So wishing all our members a lot of success in your endeavors, and hope after the lockdown the activities have rebooted and restarted in full flow, and looking forward also to meeting many of our members. As you know, at VDMA India, we would be organizing the 10th VDMA Mechanical Engineering Summit on 8th October in Bangalore, and looking forward to welcoming a lot of our members at this summit here. So with that, I would say stay well and stay safe, friends. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you. Goodbye.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.